Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. Reverend Debbie here, hope you're all doing well. Today's video, when you have to stay in the narcissistic relationship, and this is a topic that I feel so emotional about because I know that there are people out there that are being forced to stay in a relationship for various reasons. I'm going to talk about those in a minute, but if you enjoy the video, please click the like button, please subscribe to the channel. I really do need some more subscribers to the channel. I really would like to go live and do some live sessions with you and, you know, Q&As, that kind of thing. And in order for me to do that, I do need more subscribers because the algorithms on YouTube are very strange and they will only allow you to have 50 people viewing if you have less than 1,000 subscribers. And I'm sitting on 445 at the moment. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thank you. So you have children, you have no money, perhaps you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, and you love your children. You don't want to leave your children. Perhaps this abusive person in your life has made it impossible for you to leave because they took everything from you. And most important of all, they took your autonomy. I feel so sorry for those who have to stay in these relationships because of children, because of money, because they are not living their best lives. One thing I do know is that if a child witnesses or hears parents arguing with each other, that child becomes traumatized. And those arguments become ingrained in their minds and they may well go on to commit the same kind of atrocities in their relationships. So my advice to you would be go grey rock. Now, grey rock is when we have very sort of few words to say to a person. Perhaps you don't really like them. And a person says to you, oh, you know, I want this for dinner. Can you do that for dinner? And instead of saying, well, no, I was going to do this and I had this plan, just say, okay, and walk away. It's not worth the aggro afterwards. So starting to grey rock within this relationship will give you some small amount of power because you are not engaging their hatred, you're not engaging their gaslighting, you are turning your back on them and walking away from them. I used to do something similar and I didn't even realize that it had a name, that it was called grey rock. There were some times when I would just say, okay, and turn around and walk away from my ex-partner because what was the point? He was always going to be right and I was always going to be wrong, regardless of who was right or wrong. So having to stay with somebody in a relationship because you have nowhere to go, you have no family or friends, you have children, you have no money, can be one of the most horrendous things that will ever happen to you. Now, a very long time ago, I was in a relationship. I was in my late teens, early 20s. And the typical strategy of a narcissist is to move you away from home, away from your friends, away from your life, and away from everything you know by promising you a better future. And this person did that. And I transferred jobs and I started working. And sure enough, it was like, no, I don't want you to work anymore. Please leave. You know, I want you to be at home. And I was very young, very naive. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And within a few months, I had no money. I was at home all the time. I couldn't go out. I couldn't visit anybody. I had very few friends in this area. And then the physical abuse began. Now, I was lucky in that I got out of that. That's a long story. When I finish my book, you'll get to read about it. But using grey rock in a relationship where you are forced to stay is possibly your best form of defense. But what I will say to you is if you can, leave. Contact a women's rescue centre, Refuge here in the UK. There are many others. I think there's women's rights organisations, and I will put links to those in the description box below. but try to leave as soon as you can. I know it's hard, and I know you think staying, something will get better, they will be okay, this is not going to happen again, but you know it will. You know it will. The levels of DV that go on in this day and age, especially a man on a woman, the man being misogynistic and saying these things to a woman and doing these things to a woman, is more prevalent than the other way round. And I know I'm going to get people on here saying, oh, but misandry exists. Yes, it does. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying that at all. But misogyny is a far bigger problem. And a narcissist is basically a misogynist if they're male. Now, if they're female, you know, they could be a misandrist. I'm not going to sort of get into that because that is a whole other subject. But if you have to stay in this relationship, try and find a friend, somebody you can trust, somebody you can maybe, you know, go stay with for a while. Not all of us have the ability to kick this person out of our lives. Some of us do, some of us don't. I was lucky, mine left me. At the time, I didn't think I was lucky, but now, wow, I was so lucky. Because it could have been the other way around. But make that plan. Have a bag packed if you can, ready to go when you need to. Contact, as I say, a women's refuge of some sort. Take your children with you if you need to. Don't leave them behind. But let somebody help you. Don't be embarrassed, because it happens to more of us than you would ever believe. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you next time. Blessed be.